Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Orthodoxy 101. Well, last time we looked at what is the Torah. Well, today we're going to examine some of the secrets and some of the trivia that's hidden in the Torah. So, Rabbi Stein, take it away.
One of the questions I'm sometimes asked about these scrolls is what happens if there's damage to the scroll? What happens if it rips or God forbid if it's dropped? And the answer is that first and foremost, we work to treat the scroll with the greatest of respect. So we work very, very hard to treat it carefully, treat it in ways that protect it. And the parchment is also very, very durable. So it doesn't happen very frequently, thankfully. If there is damage to the scroll, it depends on the nature of the damage. If the damage is to ordinary words, that trained scribe can repair them. They can fill back in ink that has flaked, or they can sand it down and rewrite some words. However, if the damage is to something that has the name of God in it, then that entire section will need to be replaced. So going from one seam to the next, to the 5 or 7 columns, that entire section will need to be replaced, rewritten in a new parchment that is then sewn into the scroll. There is a whole nother tradition if the scroll falls to the ground, especially if it falls to the ground, let's say in a worship service in the presence of other people. In that case, it is treated as a very serious, very sad moment, and anybody who witnesses it, the tradition is that they fast for 30 days, a sunrise to sunset fast for 30 days as a way of mourning and self-reflection that even if it was entirely accidental, that this terrible thing happened in our presence. Some communities have reframed that rather than just fasting. They will use it as a way of saying for 30 days we're going to do special study sessions, or we're going to spend those 30 days performing charitable acts. But the primary tradition is that if the scroll falls to the ground, whether or not it's actually damaged, that we want to really mourn and lament that happened. So most of the scroll is written in just straight columns of writing with a few spaces separating sections. There are 4 pieces of calligraphy that I find to be really beautiful. One is the Song of the Sea in Exodus chapter 15 that's written in a wave-like pattern, really stands out from all the surrounding pieces. The second is the 10 Commandments in Exodus chapter 20 and also repeated in Deuteronomy, where each commandment is separated by a space. So again, it really stands out. The third, where I have the scroll rolled to right now, is from the book of Numbers, the 4th of the 5 books, in the chapter that describes what's called the priestly benediction. And God instructing Aaron that these are the words of blessing that are to be used has become a universal tradition common to many different religious practices. May the Lord bless you and keep you. And what's special about this calligraphy is the way that the priest was instructed to do this was opening up their hands in that what we know as what Leonard Nimoy made famous, the Star Trek pattern, and the words are written in the scroll with exactly that spacing, so that the white space between the scrolls is, in a sense, spiritually, the handprint of the ancient priests, because the words are staggered in such a way that it makes exactly that shape of the words. Leonard Nimoy actually took this from his childhood Jewish education. He grew up in a very observant Jewish environment and was very familiar with this tradition. The 4th passage, where to roll all the way to the very end of the Torah, is the final speech given by Moses, which is written in a double column. It's the only part in the entire Torah written that way, where over the space of a couple of columns, there's a line straight down the middle, so it forms a double column. What really resonates for me is sort of a modern commentary, really makes you wonder, is that in September 11th, 2001, in that week in the cycle, this happened to be the reading that was being done that very week. So we all experienced the tragedy of the fall of the Twin Towers. I then went to roll the scroll for that week's reading. Again, a scroll that is thousands of years old, has been read in a cycle ever since then. And what stood out from the scroll right in that moment was the Twin Towers of writing on the scroll. It really is profoundly beautiful that in that moment, the ancient tradition was there to provide us with comfort, with inspiration, the remembrance that even through terribly difficult times, that there's always been renewal and healing and a path to peace.
Well, thanks everybody for watching. I'd like to thank Rabbi Peter Stein for graciously offering to host this episode. And I guess the only thing left to say is live long and prosper. And remember, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode.